Shall we all rise on our feet as we take the national anthem? If you believe in the prosperity of this nation, put your hands together for Nigeria. Please, can we have a Christian to give us a prayer? Then after that, we have a Muslim. Can we have a Christian? Any volunteer to please give us the opening prayer?
Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for today. Thank you because you have preserved our lives even to see this day. May your name be glorified in Jesus' name. Thank you because you have brought us here safely. And we pray, Lord, guide us in all that we will do here today in Jesus' name. When you are leading, we cannot go astray. Direct our path, direct our reasoning, direct our action. At the end of this program, we will have every cause to bless your holy name. For those that are still on the road, Lord, we pray they will arrive here safely. We will not have any reason to regret our coming to this place. Thank you because you've heard our prayers, for we have prayed in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir. Can we have a Muslim? Do we have a Muslim volunteer to please give us a prayer, Muslim? A Muslim, please. All right.
Sallu ala Nabi al-Karim. In the name of Almighty Allah, before you here today for a ceremony, and God Almighty Allah be with us and guide us in all our dealings. At the end of the time, we shall be going back to our various destinations. Be with us. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Sallu ala Nabi al-Karim.
Thank you, sir. Please put your hands together for yourselves as we get seated. Once again, I'd like to warmly welcome each and every one of us to this event this morning. It is the very second edition. We had the first edition last year, and I was privileged to be the host of that same event that was held at the prestigious University of Ibadan, the conference center. I know quite a lot about the organizers of these awards. It's a cliche for many years now that they say teachers' rewards are in heaven. The organizers of this event are only trying to rewrite that narrative to say no. Teachers do not have to die before they get their rewards. The reward should be given to them here and enjoyed here. So, may I say that everyone here, be you here to represent your school, or you're here as an individual to pick up your word, I'd like to say congratulations to you. A round of applause for yourselves. The common thing in Nigeria today is awards given to politicians, awards given to businessmen, businesswomen, business tycoons, or whatever name they call them. but only very few people recognize the teachers. They say no women, no nation. I say no teachers, no prosperity in any nation. Who thought the politicians? Who thought the doctor? Teachers. So there is need for us to celebrate teachers, and that is the very reason why we are gathered here this morning. Please put your hands together for the organizers of this event. And interestingly, this is the only one of its kind in the southwestern part of this nation. There is no other award ceremony that put all professors, doctors together under one roof, all in the name to celebrate them and honor them for a job well done. And very soon, by the special grace of God, this award ceremony will go national and international. We can put your hands together for yourselves. For those who just see me or hearing me for the first time, I am Stephen Shotonwa. I work with Orange 94.5 FM in Akure. And I consider it a great privilege to stand before my daddies and mummies, academics here as the hosts of this event. Having said that, I am expecting names of all the people whose names are not here. I'd like to do brief introductions and recognitions of everyone seated here. So if you are here in capacity of your school, perhaps you're here to represent your school, or you are here as an individual to pick up an award, a piece of paper will go around. Please avail us your names so that we can do proper introductions. And if you are here to celebrate or to felicitate with another person, please avail us your name as well so that we can do proper recognitions and introductions. I have here, I'd like to recognize the rector, Federal Polytechnic, Ado-Ekiti, Dr. D.H. Oladibeye. Also here in our midst, we have the Deputy Rector, beg your pardon, Academics, Dr. J.O. Omoniyi. Also here seated in our midst is the Deputy Rector, Administrations, Builder, G.S. Olonroje. And the registrar of that wonderful school, situated in the state capital of Ekiti State, directly opposite Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti. We have the registrar, Mrs. K.O. Ekenem. We have other principal officers of the school. I want to believe that we are all busy writing names of our schools and writing our names as well. Maybe we can just get a representative from any school, from each school, to help us with the names of people that came from that school. We have the Dean, School of Business Studies, Mrs. O.K. Daramola. Mr. O.K. Daramola, beg your pardon. I guess the person who made this list is a medical doctor. They have the finest handwriting in the world. Dean, School of Engineering, Engineer S.O. Falui. Dean, School of Science, Dr. S.A. Akinyode. Okay. Dean, School of Environment Studies and President, Federal Polytechnic, Ado-Ekiti Alumni Association, Xavier O.A. Abiodun. Dean, Student Affairs, Federal Polytechnic, Ado-Ekiti, Mr. O.D. Dada. Okay. Director, Academics Planning and ICT, Mr. M.O. Owolabi. Director, Public Relations, Prince S.A. Adeyemi Adejolu. Okay. All 8 of department units in the Polytechnic here present. We recognize your presence as well. We have the former Deputy Rector also here in our midst, Savio Felix Ajibade. And it may interest you to know that we have alumni representatives of that school here present as well. The rated EXCO. Please put your hands together for yourselves where you're seated. We have the Director Center for Research of the school, Dr. Kunle Adeshino. Acting Director, Maintenance and Services, Engineer A.A. Ajayi. Former Acting Registrar and AA to Director, Mr. J.O. Awoniyi. Is the Administrative Assistant to Director. And from this school, that before now, when I say before now, I mean before now, long before now, parents are always scared to send their children to this school. But now, the new crop of management of that school have changed the narrative. It's now a school that people are proud of. It's not a school that their graduates now stand tall and say, yes, I attended this school. I am talking of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Lautech. We have the Vice Chancellor of that school here present, Professor Michael Ologunde. Place your hands together. We have the registrar as well, Dr. Kayode Ogunleye. You're most welcome. Please, we'd like you to stand up for recognition as we call your name. We have the bossa of the school, Mr. Bayomi Okediji. Okay, he's coming. We have the librarian as well, Dr. Mrs. Mudukwe Aboyade. Also here present, Provost College of Health Sciences, Professor Samuel Taiwo. Dean of Clinicals, Professor Peter Olaito. Dean of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Olakunle Olowe. Dean of Nursing Sciences, Professor Bayo Lawal Ajibade. Deputy Dean of Postgraduates, Professor Olushola Ojurongbe. Also here present from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, we are Professor Femi Fadiora. Professor Mrs. Olugbenga Adetunji Bello. I don't know. We have Venerable Olusegun Ojo here as well. Dr. Chris Igweagu and Mrs. Atinuke Oguntunde. You're most welcome. And quickly, before I bring the convener to deliver his opening remark, I'd like to recognize as well this school that produce products that are so proud of the school. When you ask them, what school did you attend? Instead of telling you the name of their school, they tell you, I attended Oba University. Those who came with Lautech are saying great. The school was Obafemi Awolowo University. We woke up one day because of the demarcation. They changed name from OAU, it became Osua. We thought that was the end, not until we woke up another day again. Because of another demarcation, it became UNAD. Today, that school has changed name for the 4th time. It is now EXU. That is the only university in Nigeria where you have graduates from same school sit together and they begin to brag even to themselves. You ask, school Oshito? UNAD Molo. No, me law UNAD Osua Molo. Very interesting. So we have here seated the wife of the Vice Chancellor of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. They say the wife of a pastor is a pastor, Mrs. Right? Huh? Not always, Abby. But by extension, yes, by extension. The wife of a doctor could be Dr. Mrs. too. So permit me to call this woman Professor Mrs. Ologunde. She is Professor Mrs. Ologunde. You're welcome, ma. Okay, moving on. I have the singular honor to recognize in our midst this morning the Dean Division of Student Affairs, OAU, who is also an awardee at this event this morning, Professor Isiaka O. Arosi. And he's here in company of his delectable, supportive wife, Mrs. A.O. Arosi. We have the Vice Dean of the Division of Student Affairs, OAU as well, in our midst, Dr. A. Oluwatosin. We have the Vice Dean, Faculty of Administration, Dr. Benson. We have the Principal Assistant Registrar, Dr. Apampa. Another Principal Assistant Registrar, Dr. Ifajolu. Another Principal Assistant Registrar, Mrs. Awobeno. We have counseling psychologists here, and it may interest you to know that thank God for everybody hearing me now that I'm speaking English, they say, this guy, you know. I'm a graduate of psychology. I never studied English, not even mass communication. So I'm proud that I'm about recognizing here set of psychologists. Also here in our midst this morning, we have a counseling psychologist from OAU, Mr. Odeyemi. Another counseling psychologist, Mrs. Ajibade. Another counseling psychologist, Mrs. Obishaki. Another counseling psychologist, Mrs. Olani Shebe. Another Ivan Pavlov, another counseling psychologist, Mr. Ilesomi. We have a student affairs officer, Mr. Alabetutu. Alabetutu, yes. Student affairs officer, Mrs. Odiame. Confidential secretary, DSA, Mrs. Adebiyi. Student affairs officer, Mr. Adeyeye. And we have students of the school here, some of them. We have the dean staff, Mr. Fayomi. We have Mr. Israel and Mr. Balogun and all other OAU students here present. We say thank you for coming. We have the registrar of our landlord today, at least for today. They are our landlords because they are hosting us here. We have the registrar, Redeemers University, Pastor Oluwakayode Akindele. Sir, you are our landlord. We cannot afford to put you at the back. Come and sit down here, sir. Please, sir. You are our landlord. A tenant must respect the landlord. You're welcome, sir. We have in our midst, quickly before I bring up the convener to speak to us, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Redeemers University, Professor Mrs. Adesola Adebileje. Ma, please, we have a seat for you here, ma. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you. We have the FUTA team here too. Federal University of Technology, are correct. Quickly, we have the VC, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development, Professor Philip Oguntunde. Sir, you're welcome. We have Professor J.O. Borode. We have the Director, Establishment and Human Resources, Mr. Ademola Bobola, who is representing the registrar. Sir, you're welcome. We have Mr. Tunde Adeoye, the PR. We have Mr. Olukayode Adetokunbo, also from FUTA. Ogundeji Oluwadunsin, Ogunjemite Omile, Mr. Ige John, and Mr. Ayo Ayedun. Please your hands together for all of them. At this juncture, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to bring before us to tell us more about these gathering, this event, this epoch-making award ceremony. Please, with a resounding round of applause, let's make welcome here the convener, the man who has given so many awards, yet he has not received one. Pastor Oni Olawale.
I want to say welcome to everyone. And I'm excited today to welcome you to the second edition of the Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. This journey started about 3-4 months ago. And when we published an advert for nominations for the 2019 edition of the award. And people kept sending in their nominees, and exactly about a month ago, I have to step in with my committee to verify the nominees. And that is the most serious aspect of this award, the verification, the screening. We have to check the integrity. We have to do background check on the awardees. People can nominate, people can even ask other people to nominate them. But in the process of screening, we were able to remove a lot of people. Because we go directly to the schools to ask about you if you have been nominated for an award. Does this person deserve this award? We ask people that they don't even know what we need information for. You'll be surprised that everything you do, people are watching you. People are watching. There are some people here that people confided in us about. That knows that one. If I have the power to give him an award, I will give it to him. And after we have done all our screening, all our researches, everything, it was after that we now informed the nominees that they have been picked for that award. They were not even aware while we were doing the screening, while we were verifying, while we were doing all sorts of things. And I want to tell you, it is good to be good. It is good. Keep making your impact. Keep doing what you are doing. Southwest Nigeria Excellence Award started year 2011 as general award for the whole of Southwest Nigeria. Some of us in the media, we came together. We wanted to have an award for Southwest Nigeria region that will be credible, that will not be decided by money. So we came together. We set up different rules. We didn't allow some of these. I saw an award recently while somebody was sending a message to me, please vote for me. So, and he was saying you can vote twice in a day. So the more the frequency of your vote, that assures my being picked for the award. I said, this is nonsense. Then people who don't deserve the award will continue to have it if you keep doing that. So we have to set some rules. And when it was year 2018, we felt we should have something separate for the educational sector. And for the first time, Southwest Nigeria Education Award was launched at the University of Ibadan International Conference Center last year. I know some of us were there. It was a very powerful event. That was the first edition of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. And by God's grace, we are witnessing the second edition. Our work usually takes about 4 months to get the nominees. It's not very easy. We traveled, we visited schools, we did our researches, and you'll be surprised that we even know more about you than you think we do. We have information about you in our hands before we can call you here today to receive the award. And I am happy because our integrity have remained over the years. There was a particular year someone was nominated by my colleagues in the media for an award. And after the screening, we discovered that the person does not deserve the award. He had the highest number of nominations from the press. I fought with my colleagues because they feel we should allow him. I said no. We eventually removed his name and put the second person up. 3 months after the award, it was all over the media. The guy has duped about 1,000 people with his own school. He has a private school. And he was sent to the prison. In fact, it will have been so funny because we'll have just given him an award and that thing will have happened. And they will have said, Sherry, they are after the money. And after that day, my colleagues will always say, no, we respect you. It's not about the money. It's about the integrity of this person. Once again, I want you to put your hands together for all the awardees of today. I will not be talking too much at this point, because in the middle of the presentations, I'm still coming to say one or two things. But I just want to welcome you once again. I want to welcome my colleagues. We have all the major media stations across the country in the house this morning, both print and electronic media. I want to thank you for your sacrifice, those who traveled from long distances to be here with us to cover this event. And I also want to welcome our people from different schools, representatives. I know some people took off around 5 a.m. this morning from their location to get to Ede for this meeting. I want to appreciate all of you. And once again, I want to say, please, as you receive your award this morning, don't receive your award and just pick your team and leave immediately, like it used to happen. So I think we have been able to correct that since last year now. If you are called first and you receive your award and you just take your people and you leave, by the time the last person will be receiving his or her own award, there will be nobody on the seat again. And if that has been done to you, you will not be happy. So we have made sure that this thing we want to do, the award we want to do today, will not last, everything will not last more than 2 hours. Everything. And we have spent out of the 2 hours already. We were targeting 10 to 12 for our meeting. So you have no reason to pick your award and leave. And also, the press wants to grant some interview to some people, to the awardees. So if you run away, then you are going to miss the interview. So it's just going to be a brief event. Let's endure to stay around and enjoy every bit of the program. Once again, I want to say welcome and God bless you.
Okay, please your hands together for Pastor Honey Olawale once again. He said it all. Well, quickly before we move on and we get to hear from, we get to learn again, I'd like to specially recognize in our midst the Vice Chancellor, Lautech, who just came in a few minutes back before I invited the convener to deliver a speech. Please your hands together for Professor Michael Ologunde. Sir, you're welcome. And I've just been informed that we have the college accountant here present as well. I mean from Lautech, Mrs. Fatima Ishola. Ma, you're most welcome. Mrs. Bossede Obiyemi, you're welcome as well. I have many names here, but I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to take all of these names because of our time. So if I'm yet to recognize you, please do not get angry. Please, I beg your pardon. I beg you, please do not. Okay, quickly, let me take this. From the Federal College of Education, Abeokuta, we have Iyawe Omoruyi, who is a lecturer from that institution. Where is he? Please stand up for recognition, please. Please your hands together for him. We have a representative from the FRSC. I love those people very well. We have the Route Commander, Olaji Igbe, Olayiwola. You're welcome. We have a Chief Lecturer and Coordinator, LASU FCE degree program from the Federal College of Education, Abeokuta, Dr. Mrs. Aderi Bigbe Murumumbo Martina. We have the Head Department of Hematology, OAU, Dr. R.A. Bolariwa. Professor Samuel Oluwalano from the Federal University.
We should be champion in teaching the world how to manage wars. Africa should be championed in peace and conflict management because we are very good at making wars, fighting each other, killing each other. So why can't we teach, learn from those and then teach the world how to manage peace, how to do peace and then manage conflict? We're very good at poverty. We have a lot of poverty. So we should be teaching the world how to come out of poverty, how to go out of poverty to become rich. We're very good at even stealing. Kleptomania is everywhere. So why can't we just learn from those and then teach the world how to make and not to steal, set the laws and the rules to behave properly? But in addition to that, we're blessed with a lot of infections. And somebody told me some days ago, I was in Bayelsa yesterday giving a talk to the government and then to other people there yesterday, and somebody stood up and told me, why is it that everything that is bad comes from Africa? Diseases, HIV, everything you talk about, Ebola, everything is always in Africa. And I told him that, look, you know what? God is not a fool. He actually blessed you with those diseases. We should own up to those diseases. You should be proud to have those diseases because we need to use those diseases to teach the world how to manage them. But unfortunately, we don't do that. When we are faced with all these challenges, this is our response. This is the same way we respond all the time. We'll go and bury her head in the sand of all is well and God day. Because God has given us everything. We'll come from heaven and help us solve these problems. We're very wrong. We're very wrong. And I think it is time I'm using this opportunity and then they're standing up here to challenge those who are going to be having this award today. That, it's not enough to go and bury your head in the sand and of all is well and God day and expect God to come from heaven and solve the problem. He's giving you everything to solve a problem. God created you in his own image, and he's created a diversity. Why can't you solve those problems? It's basically because we have some self-limitation. We tell ourselves that we cannot do a lot of things. But then, not all of us think that way. Some few people will think differently. And this is how we take some cues. And I will tell you some of the things that motivate some of us. Here we go. These are some of the people that kind of, influenced me in my own career. And then you could see here Albert Einstein that will tell you genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. Which means that we're all talented, but we just need to work harder to make the point. But then if you look at the next statement for Albert Einstein, he's someone that influenced me a whole lot. If you read of what he's saying, if you make a fish believe that he cannot climb a tree, he will spend all his life believing that he's very stupid. The reality is that if a fish decides to climb a tree, he will find a way and devise means of climbing trees. But then, when I look at what Steve Jobs said a few years back, before he died, it was very touching. You got to be crazy to think about changing the world, and only few that are crazy enough will eventually change the world. Which means that we need to think about things the way they are not, or dream about things the way they are not, and then act unconventionally. And then this is basically the way we in this institution try to think unconventionally, dream things the way they are not, and ask ourselves why not. Instead of thinking the same way the bandwagon think, and then think about not doing it. And that leads me to my next slide, which is how do we solve the issue of curbing infectious or emerging disease in Africa? We took an approach that is completely different. We took an approach that is completely unconventional. And that unconventional approach came from the fact that we noticed that there were new technologies that were emerging and evolving across the world. But Africans were not participating into it. The reason why the Africans were not participating was basically due to the fact that there was no skill, there was no know-how, and as such, there was no way we could actually make contribution. And this has resulted in a huge divide between Africa and then the rest of the world. That is the reason why when people talk about using personalized medicine, Africans are still using, the same thermometer that my grandmother used in 1945. Are we making progress? We can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. Again, Albert Einstein said it. If you do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result, then you are stupid. That is exactly what stupidity is all about. But then, have you gotten what it takes to change the world? The answer is yes. Are we committed to change the world? The answer is maybe. And as such, we use what we call the genomic revolution to start addressing issues of health and infectious disease in Africa. And to do that, we set up a platform, and also across the world. But then this consortium actually is that these are all members that are actually addressing one single problem, which is infection. The world research environment that transcends national boundaries is because we notice in Africa knowledge is caged. There is no brain mobility and brain circulation in Africa. The only reason why Africa does not circulate is basically because knowledge in Africa is trapped. Trapped, first of all, in the academic towers, but also trapped within countries. It is much more easier for an African to go to America and share knowledge or go to Europe and share knowledge than to give knowledge to the next African countries. Because it takes you 3 weeks to get a visa from Nigeria to Kenya. But it takes you 48 hours to get a visa a visa to go from here to the US or to go from here to any African country, any European country. Again, it shows the shallow mind of Africans. These borders that were set in 1884 with the Berlin Conference, cutting Africa on a sheet of paper. But we can evolve beyond it and start thinking about how we can use knowledge to solve problems. These are problems that are very common to us. Unfortunately, what we tend to forget is that viruses, parasites, they don't need visa to enter our countries. They don't need visas. They don't need passport. They come in at will. And then we need to go beyond it. But overall, and that's why, taking all of these into account, we decided to think about setting up a platform where we can train a critical mass of well-trained African scientists that can use genomic knowledge to address issues related to health. But apart from that, how do you address issues related to health when you do not have, for instance, what it takes? You need to educate people. Unfortunately, in the case of Nigeria, where we talk about genomics, there was no educational program or educational curriculum to introduce the genomics in the education landscape. So what we did was basically to bring in a new curriculum that was very new and that NUC wasn't used to. And then that is a genomic curriculum that we introduced. And I can tell you that we don't know exactly what is responsible for your problem. They don't know what is responsible for your fever. And we decided to tackle these issues, start looking at fevers so that we can identify the drivers which are responsible for fevers on the continent for the purpose of putting what we call one diagnostic step panel that can enable you to diagnose any kind of fever that you have. So these two programs, or two things that we do actually pretty much, address one major important challenge in Africa, which is the critical need of genomic education and research. So, and then the overall goal for our program is actually to build what we call, the next generation of African pathogen hunters. The reason being simple. We're always playing what I call defense. Anytime you hear about Lassa fever, then we start running helter-skelter. It is yellow fever, we start running around. If it is Ebola, everybody, then salt becomes so rare in the market because they believe that, salt can clear Ebola, right? So it is about those 11,000 people in those countries worth less than a fifth of the Nigerian population. If you were having that same situation in Nigeria, you escalate it and make it exponential, we'll be talking about at least what I call the 5 to 6 million dead. But then we were able to do it because we had the technology and then we have the skills. But then the whole story about it is actually to show how you can use science as a way to address a problem, which is infectious disease. I will not bother with too much detail. But then, interestingly, what the procedures that we could do within a month, we were able to do it during the Ebola outbreak within 10 days. But what the most important is the fact that we were faced with some challenges. Those challenges were diagnostics. Diagnostics for the first Ebola case that we did was about 5 to 6 hours. And within the period, it took 6 hours to diagnose one single patient. But then the question is, how do you work during an outbreak when you diagnose one single patient, it takes 5 hours. There are two things that are very important during outbreaks: speed and accuracy. And in order to address those two things, we went on to think about how to shut down the time and also to be more accurate. So within 4 months of the Ebola outbreak, we did something that was unprecedented. Went from a 6-hour diagnostic to develop a 5-minute rapid diagnostic test. And when that test was introduced, that was the major turning point to contain the outbreak in West Africa. That test was approved by the World Health Organization, and then the test is also approved by the US FDA. And it's the first generation test that was approved. Because at that moment, when anybody went to the Ebola center, we would know almost in real time whether that person had Ebola or not. Because what used to happen during the Ebola outbreak is that you leave your house healthy, maybe with malaria or you have a bacterial infection, went to the Ebola center, contracted Ebola because you were there with Ebola patient, and then take Ebola back home. So this was very important in order to contain, that outbreak. But then we were able to use genomics as a way not only to just, to diagnose, but also a way to track the infection. So in this slide, for instance, you see how we're able to use that for the first time in the history of science, as you see there, in time and space, to see all of these transmission events happening from one person to the other, and then just using genomic DNA sequences to actually see how transmission occurs and spread across the region. And this was also very important because we could track in times and space how this was occurring, and then we could identify hotspots and then sinks, and then this was very crucial. But then the question comes into your mind, and then to say from what I've showed before, is we're talking about emerging disease. The question is, are these diseases really emerging? The answer is no. I think we as humans, as scientists, we're very arrogant because we think we know it all. The day we diagnose a disease, we think that we've diagnosed something new. And the reality is that those microorganisms and those viruses have been there for years. It is very clear from literature that in 1929, there was a full-blown outbreak of HIV in Congo-Leopoldville, which is the present DRC. But the first diagnosis of HIV was done in the US in 1976. And we say, oh, we are dealing with a new disease. It's not true. The HIV virus is about 700 years. The same will go for the Lassa fever virus. The Lassa fever virus was described in Nigeria in the town of Lassa 50 years ago. Fine, we did say the virus is 50 years. But then the reality is that in the next few slides, we're able to research, use what we call the next generation sequencing approach to try to understand this virus and how it is. And guess what? What we found is that the Lassa fever virus actually emerged from present-day Nigeria, and most precisely in the southwestern part of Nigeria 1,060 years ago. So that virus was circulating within Nigeria for 600 years and moved out of Nigeria about 400 years ago to West Africa. And then the youngest virus is in Sierra Leone. But then that will explain the reason why, for instance, I keep saying it, and I say this with facts. The Lassa fever virus emerged from the Yoruba land in Nigeria. Killed a lot of people, but then few survive. And that's why I keep saying it, and I say boldly that the Yorubas actually hold the key to the next Lassa fever vaccine. And I will demonstrate to you toward the end how you hold the key for that vaccine. And I will work in on that. But then having sequenced the virus, we're able to use as a way to do that, to develop another rapid diagnostic test for Lassa. So curbing, or the emerging viruses actually require for you to develop quick vaccines, quick diagnosis, and then quick medicine, right? So those information were able to be very useful. And here I can tell you that we have the first monoclonal antibody to treat the Lassa fever, Lassa fever. Lassa fever as a virus actually has no medicine meant for it. Ribavirin that is used to treat Lassa fever is not a drug meant for Lassa fever. It's a drug meant for hepatitis. So that drug is an accidental drug. It's really not drug for Lassa fever, but at least we developed the first molecule. You can see here in this graph, we used a very, very low concentration and it will knock down the virus. We also showed that, to curb, what we call emerging diseases, you need to understand its transmission. we were able to show that Lassa fever actually transmits mostly from rodents to human. Because if Lassa fever was transmitting like Ebola from human to human, I can tell you many of us are not going to be alive. We'll be dead every year. We'll lose so many members of our family every year because every year there's Lassa fever in Nigeria, right? And we know that the disease is endemic. We used to talk about, disease outbreak, but it's not true. But then for you to understand and then understand diseases, as we were saying, you need to do better. Use technology to understand things. Use technology to clock. So by the time, the reason why I give you the age is because we have technology to what we call reduced molecular clocking and use the most recent common ancestor. So we can say with precision the age of a virus. But then you need to think about what approach you use to understand what is circulating in a specific landscape. When somebody comes to you and then he says he has fever, so what are those potential pathogens that are circulating in a human? So what we did was basically to do a case control study in Nigeria to identify the viruses that are responsible for fever. And interestingly, if you see on this graph, when you look at febrile patients, so people that have fever tend to have more viruses than those that don't have fever. So and in that process, trying to understand what are the drivers of fever. So this is not showing what, but 8% viruses you see. But then in process of understanding that, we actually discovered, as I said before, that we discovered 2 new viruses. And these 2 new viruses, we call them Epomavirus 1 and Epomavirus 2 because we discovered them in the area of Epoma in Edo State. But what was interesting is that when we went back in those communities and then tried to see what happened in those people in those viruses, 80% of people in those communities have antibodies to those viruses. So which means that these viruses have been circulating for years and we didn't know. And then by the time we clocked this virus is about 268 years circulating in Nigeria. Nobody knew about it, and we discovered it, just in 2015. Which means that we know little about viruses and things that are circulating around. So that gives you an idea of those 2 viruses. But then, more importantly, is what do you do when you are dealing with a myriad of infection in one single person? So what we've tried to do is basically to think about developing new diagnosis, multiplexing the diagnosis. And that's what we did for the case of Ebola. Here you see Lassa and malaria. So we're developing a multiplex diagnosis so that we can do it's like a pregnancy test. Once you just take 1 drop of blood, then that resolves the issues and tell you whether it's malaria, Lassa, or Ebola in one single thing. So that gives you the proof of principle for those 3 tests. But then that is pretty much something that we're basically getting out. So the approach for us is actually to use the genomic-based diagnostics as well as a way to just develop new ways. So I won't bother you with this, but then we have a pan-viral diagnostic panel that we've developed, but then contain all of these viruses that you see. So we can now diagnose up to 50 different viruses in one single, chip. And that for us is very unique and is very innovative. So the innovation comes from the fact that, we can now use, things like barcode, tag each pathogen and create what we call genetic barcode and use those barcodes as a way to diagnose them. I won't bother you with this, but I just want to go back and then say you can use approaches like real-time genomic responses. We applied that, during the 2018 outbreak of Lassa fever in Nigeria. You all know that last year we had a huge surge of Lassa fever in this country. But what we did was basically to use, genomic responses, at least to guide the healthcare authorities in Nigeria. So at least, and then this was not done by me. I keep saying it. I don't take credit. I just benefit from the credit of my own student. In my own lab here, or in our lab here, we have the female. I call them our Amazons. They do all the work. But in addition to guys, you have some guys that are very, literate in computing. And I call them the Dig Squad. So those guys are very good. And then these are the teams of people that are doing all the work. They've not only conquered, the viruses in Nigeria, but they've actually extended their winning streak all the way to Africa. And you could see them here. They've gone to competitions across Africa. They actually all won the best prizes in all competition. And I think, these kids or these students, really deserve, the credit for all the work they're doing because they're working hard to save, this country. So in addition to the fact that we were able to show that, there was no evidence of human-to-human transmission. But what was interesting through the last outbreak last year was the fact that, we're not dealing with one single outbreak. I always say that, Nigeria is interesting. When people complain and they say Nigeria is a complex country, I say, well, you haven't seen the complexity. If humans are complex, politics is complex, everything is complex. Think about it. Even the viruses in this country are very complex. So when you think you are dealing with something, then I think you're dealing with multiple things. So the complexity is so difficult, and I keep wondering, as a head of state, having finished to deal with human beings, so I used to be dealing with viruses. It gets very difficult to manage, right? So we're dealing with 3 different outbreaks in Nigeria based on 3 different regions. So it means that even when you're developing your countermeasures or diagnosis of vaccines, what you develop for the rest of Africa is fine, but it's not going to work in Nigeria because of diversity. So I think there's a need to have a close look at what happens in this country and then see how we can do that. Use it to actually help the world. So, but then you use this information to help the healthcare system. And then this is basically from WHO and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, acknowledging all of this. But then the reality is we need to do a lot of work to understand how this thing works. But then when you do work, you run into trouble. Just the way I keep saying our lab here at Redeemers University, we're all constantly what we call an outbreak response mode. You just finish with one, then the other comes. And then they tell you, for instance, that in 2015, we just finished with Lassa fever, with Ebola virus disease. Then there was a student in Calabar that got sick and was bleeding. They say Ebola was back in the country. When the sample was sent back to us, we realized that it wasn't Ebola, it was chickenpox. But unfortunately, this guy was so heavily infested, 6.25 million copies of virus per microliter, and that's responsible for the bleeding. But while you're doing that, then you have monkeypox that came afterwards. We spent the whole of part of 2017 working on monkeypox, providing results to the Nigerian government, even though the Nigerian government is not bold enough to recognize that all that work is done at Redeemers University. But then the international community knows. So, but then you also deal with crowding demands or growing demands from other people, right? So while you're dealing with issues and try to address health problems, you also have international organizations that are bothering you. In August 2018, we had to request that a US embassy shut down. Many of you probably would have realized that that embassy shut down. The embassy did not shut down because they wanted. There were a lot of stories going around and they say Boko Haram and then so many things going on. It was shut down because we in this university requested and then gave them instruction to shut down. They received a passport with white powder. They opened the passport and then they thought that it was maybe anthrax. And then we decided to send a team, collected a sample, but we decided to split that into 2. We requested that they send one aliquot to the US and they would do one aliquot in Nigeria, actually for quality control. Within 72 hours, we provided the result and well-detailed layout of what we found. I requested that the embassy be reopened. They did not get the result from the US until 10 days. Interestingly, what we provided here was the most accurate and the most detailed result that they really see. And the US embassy or ambassador in Nigeria had to come down to our own level to appreciate the fact that we were more accurate and we were more effective. And he wrote a letter appreciating the fact that we've done this. Writing the letter to me, I wrote back to him and I said, sir, I disregard your letter. Write to the right people. I told you my student and then the stock in this university did it. Write to them and appreciate them, which he did. They were just dying in those states. They tested for Lassa fever, it was negative. They tested for dengue, it was negative. They tested for Ebola, it was negative. What was the cause of death? They didn't know. The sample was sent to us. Within 48 hours, we were able to identify and then know that it was yellow fever. We told the Nigerian Health Authority it was yellow fever, and then they eventually went to that community and helped to save the number of hundreds of people that have died already. Interestingly, as usual, they were not bold enough to go to the press and say that this work was done in Redeemers University. They were saying it was done in one lab. I fired back and I told them, shame on you, because unfortunately the international community knows that this work was done here. And the virus, the yellow fever virus that we discovered here, is very different from what we've described in Nigeria in the past 100 years. Very different. Where did it come from? We don't know. But it's very similar to what the other viruses found in other parts of West Africa. But then it means that, you know, for whatever we see here, it wasn't from vaccines. There's a need to have a better understanding. And that's what I said, you know, there are things that are always very interesting in this part of the world. But we're making efforts in order to bring down the technology and the cost, because we know it's very expensive to do the kind of thing that we're doing, but we're making effort to bring them down, and also to do real-time data analysis. But then we're also empowering local clinicians on how to do this and work together with them in order to address these issues. But then the whole thing is about understanding. When you talk about curbing emerging infectious diseases, it's not just only to look at the viruses and the microbes and the pathogen. It's also to look at humans. We are the ones harboring the viruses. The question is, why do you harbor the virus? How come is it that in your same household, you get sick with malaria so often, and your wife doesn't get sick? How come that you have 3 children? 2 of them get sick all the time, and then one of them is so strong and rugged, you know, he's always there standing. There's probably something within the genome of that person that is helping to protect him against the disease. And that's what we did in this study, where we actually involved in understanding genetic diversity and how that drives or make people either susceptible or resistant to diseases. We were part of this, what we call international consortium, that brought together about 464 institutions in the world, 1,628 scientists across these institutions. But interestingly, as usual, in Africa, there was only one single institution that contributed to the international effort: Redeemers University. And more interestingly is the fact that the communities or the genomes of the population that we work with. Here you can see the Mendes of Sierra Leone, the Ishans of Nigeria, and then the Yorubas of Nigeria. Those 3 on those extreme right, we show that they were the more diverse population. But then that diversity did not just come randomly. The diversity was driven by diseases. So which means that, you know, your genome is actually characterized by the level of exposure that you had to diseases over the years. And that is what we call natural selection. So natural selection is actually driven by diseases, just in the case of sickle cell, for instance. We all know that sickle cell is driven by malaria, right? So when you have sickle cell, your ability to contract malaria is very low. When you don't have sickle cell, and then your AA is very high. So then we learn from this, and then at least this is where we go in demonstrating clearly that if you look at what I've put in here, look at the population, the Yorubas in Nigeria in red, the Ishans in Nigeria in blue, and then the Mendes of Sierra Leone in blue, in green. If you look at what you see there, you use this, we scan the genome, and then you look at the frequency of that particular gene. There's a gene there called the large gene, LARGE. That large gene is actually the larger genome in human. But then we found something very interesting in the Yorubas of Nigeria. The allelic frequency, there's a deletion, a mutation in that gene. And 60% of the Yoruba that we saw actually have that mutation. And then we're wondering, where does that come from? How come the Yorubas have something that is so peculiar and then we don't find in other populations in Africa? And then here is the answer. Remember, I told you before that the Lassa fever virus is about 1,060 years and emerged from southwestern part of Nigeria among the Yorubas. That is the answer. It means that the Lassa fever selected that particular mutation, in the Yorubas. And then the few Yorubas that survived actually had that mutation, and then they transmit that to the next generation. And that's exactly what characterized that. And that also explains the reason why you rarely hear about Lassa fever in the Yoruba land. The few cases that you hear in the Yoruba land are often imported cases, people that went elsewhere, they imported cases. So in which case I say the key, in a way, one of the keys for the vaccine for Lassa fever is kept in the Yoruba genome. And you could look at the difference between that and Sierra Leone, and that also explains the reason why when you see, for instance, a Lassa fever case in Nigeria, it's mild compared to Sierra Leone, and their cases are often very bad. So now to explain that, we look at the Yoruba population, and then we actually start characterizing this gene. And we realize that this gene here, this large gene, is involved in penetration of the Lassa fever virus in the cell. The gene is responsible for a protein, secreting a protein called the large protein. And that large protein will combine with what we call the dystroglycan, which is the alpha-dystroglycan. So that is exported at the surface of the cell, and they serve as receptors. These receptors are actually involved in the penetration, recruiting the Lassa fever virus into the cell. But when you have a mutation in the large gene like the Uber have, instead of facilitating the penetration of the virus, it blocks the virus to come into the cell. And that is the reason why we say the Urubers actually have something that protects them against Lassa fever. When you do a seroepidemiology surveys of Lassa fever among the Urubers, 70% of the Yoruba have exposure to the Lassa fever virus, yet they don't come down. And that actually explains the reason we say you don't eat rat. People eat rats here, right? But yet they don't come down. So, but then we don't just really do science for the purpose of doing science, but we're also doing the science for the purpose of education. Remember that I said before that knowledge is caged, you know, in the universities. Most of the time people do science for the purpose of publishing, but you need to go beyond it. So we set up an educational program that actually train people in various fields of genomics, or various thematics in genomics. This number that we have here is actually obsolete. We've trained over 1,000 people, you know, in the past 5 years in West Africa. Apart from training people in West Africa, what we've also done is actually, because we know that the training opportunities and the space that we have is not good enough for all the people that are seeking to have knowledge. So what we've done is that we convert our students, our trainees, into movie makers. And these movie makers will make them to develop movies, MOOCs, and then anybody can go to our website and then download those movies. And these movies are actually procedures that they have in the laboratory, and then you can have that for free. So see, these are some of the things that you can see in our teams. So they make videos, and then they prepare the scripts, and then they act by themselves. But apart from that, we've also made sure that we take the knowledge outside. And that is, we have an education program that actually empower the young kids in high school. You know, training the kids at high school, and then let them see that with science you can actually change the world. You can be crazy enough with science knowledge to change the world, and then impact them at that young age. But apart from training the kids, we also train the teachers, because you can't give what you don't have. So we need to train teachers so that they can go back to school and be more effective, and then provide children with current knowledge of genomics. Yes, we train, but then the question is, where are the facilities? We say, yes, we provide facilities for those that we're training. So these are all places where you see facilities, where we set up facilities across West Africa. But apart from providing just equipment, we're also making sure we build infrastructures. So you can see some new facilities, like the building that you see here in the middle, like a story building, is in one of the most rural areas of Nigeria. That is the Irua Specialty Teaching Hospital. That is a very remote area. If you go there, it doesn't look like nowhere. But then we set up a facility like that one there. And it's a state-of-the-art facility. So what we've done is basically to just use a hub-and-spoke approach in order to address issues. And we actually set up a network within Nigeria. We have 6 or 7 sites in Nigeria, and then we want to export this model across West Africa. We're doing that in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, and then in Senegal. Pretty much, I will just say this is kind of the way or approaches to kind of address infectious disease. But this is a big picture. The big picture is actually to use the African Center of Excellence for Infectious Disease to develop high core technology, but then bring down that technology to point of care, and then work with communities, hospitals, and the communities to improve the care, which means that those countermeasures could be either diagnostics, they could be vaccines, they could be drugs, so that we can work with the community to make things better and engage them in the process of diagnosing. So empowering them so that they themselves recognize the first symptom, they can diagnose, and then they can effectively treat what the diseases are. So ultimately, it's actually to expand the scientific capability of African in order to sustain collaborative and independent health research on the continent. So this story, as good as it is, you know, also has some backside. In this process, I just want to say we lost a lot of friends. These are friends that we lost on the front line during the Ebola outbreak. Probably not in Nigeria, but we also have 1 or 2 in Nigeria, but then elsewhere. But then the reason why I put up all these slides is actually to also to tell Africans that you're on your own. We need to think about how we want to take our destiny in our hand. The story of the young man that you see on the extreme right was the only infectious disease doctor in Sierra Leone. He was managing 90 patients in the beginning of the outbreak all by himself. He's a young man that I trained. And I kept telling him, be careful. He was so passionate about saving lives and saving the life of his countrymen that he eventually got infected with with Ebola. When he got infected with Ebola, I took up my baton. I went around the world. I was in the US begging for drugs to treat him. I went to Europe begging for drugs to treat him. I was told that the drugs, we can't give them to you because it hasn't gone clinical trial. I went to the US and I said, please, I want you to medevac him. Oh, no, we cannot evacuate him because, we don't know where to keep him. I went to the German, to the Brits, I complained. But then, another friend of mine, with whom I was working in Sierra Leone, Iron Cruiser, American citizen, 3 weeks after got Ebola. The same medical evacuation that they refused to me, they sent an engine, they sent a medevac plane to evacuate him to the US. The same medicine that was refused, Zimab, he was given Zimab, and he's alive. Unfortunately, Dr. Khan died. I put myself on the line and I said, well, give me the drug, I will smuggle it. I will go to jail because I'll be arrested for smuggling drug. They said, no, we love you too much. We won't give you the drug. Unfortunately, the same processes and the same advantages I was refused. Refused an airplane to take him out, to take him in a place where he was going to be treated. They took somebody because he was American, he was white. He was treated with the same medicine, he survived. And then this young man died. So, Africans, take your destiny into your hand. Our lives are not equal. So I think I'm sending this message so that you know that if you don't think about solving the problem in-house and within the continent, we are doomed. On this note, I also want to say thank you.
Wow. Please make it louder, make it louder, make it louder. Exciting. Awesome. Please do have your seat. Wow. Sir, what are the requirements to be in your class someday? Hard work. Okay. This institution is blessed to have a man like him as a lecturer. Please, a round of applause for him once again. For that very outstanding lecture, the organizer has something for you. May I call on Pastor Honey Olawale? The prof, please.
Yeah. On behalf of the board of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, we are presenting you with this as a way of appreciating you for the wonderful lecture delivered today. We are right at the point now for us to start the presentation ceremony. And I want to quickly give the breakdown of the awardees for the year 2019. This year, by God's grace, out of about 80,000 lecturers we have in different higher institutions across Southwest Nigeria, we were able to pin down 10 for awards today. And we have 5 professors. We also have 5 senior lecturers for the category of Outstanding Lecturers of the Year, Southwest Nigeria. Sincerely, it was not very easy. It was not very easy to be able to get 5 professors across Southwest. We did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. And those who are not able to win this year, you know, the purpose of this award is just a way of encouraging us to do more. If you have been doing well before, then do more. If you have not started, then start now, because people are watching you. That is the purpose. The MC was introducing myself and was saying that the coordinator has never received an award. Fine, I've never received an award. But that is not the issue. That is not the issue. But every little thing you are doing, people are watching. So now people know that because people are watching, they know that they have to put more effort. I will quickly mention not because he's here, Professor Ologunde, not because you are here, sir. Those students of yours, they said some things about you. They said, this new man who just came in, they said the effort he has put to transform the school. They were telling me a lot of things. They don't even know why we were interviewing them. I took that upon myself to handle that one personally. You were not there. You were not there. And, you know, at a point, our people were saying maybe we should document some of these videos so that we can just relay them. But some of these people, they want it confidential. They won't talk to you if you are ready to, you know, to put them on record. So that is on the category of the outstanding lecturers. And we have another category here. For the first time, we were able to add to our list of awards this year, outstanding tutorial centers. I'm thinking you are going to clap for the first time. Across Southwest Nigeria, we were able to get 4 of them. 4 across Southwest Nigeria. You know, you can go and Google them, you can go and do your research. The students they coached, they got the highest in most of the exams. And this year also, we got, in terms of secondary school across Southwest Nigeria, we got 3 outstanding schools, 3 of them for the award. And we also got in the category of education icon of the year. You know, the criteria for this one was a little bit hard. We got just 2 in the whole of Southwest Nigeria. And we also have, for the first time, we have outstanding teacher of the year. Secondary school teacher. Just 1 in the whole of Southwest Nigeria. And also, we have outstanding student of the year, just 1. We have outstanding private university of the year. We have outstanding public university of the year. We have outstanding rector of the year. We have outstanding polytechnic of the year. We have outstanding vice chancellor of the year. And I think those are the categories we have for this year. I believe we're going to put our hands together for them once again. And as I'm handing over now, you'll be wondering, you are not seeing any magazine here today. We have decided not to bring up the magazine now. After this event, in the next 2 weeks, the magazine will be out. It's a publication, 70 pages. It's going to be a documentation that anybody can access all over the world. They want to know the outstanding lecturers in Southwest Nigeria. They want to know the education icon, the outstanding schools. They can always log on and check all over the world. And we're also going to produce the hard copy. We are distributing it free of charge across the nation. So what we have decided to do, we are going to give letters to the awardees today. Our media team, they have planned the pages. And also the cost for each page has been put there in the letter. So we have allocated, you can increase what we have allocated for you as much as possible. If we say you are the education icon of the year, people want to know why. Everything will be there. Even the pictures that we are taking of you today here will be in the magazine. We are still coming after today to do some extra interviews that will also be in the magazine. We want to come to your school. We want to see your laboratories. We want to see some wonderful things there. We want them in the magazine, so that it will be online and it will be in the offices across the nation. For the first time, we are doing that this year. So as you pick the award, you will also pick our letter. The magazine will be out precisely the 5th of June. You can access this online, and you can also have the hard copy. Between now and then, we'll have finished all our documentation and the rest. So officially, I want to hand over to the MC for the presentation to begin. We might not be able to read all your citations, but just we are trying to fly with the time as much as possible. Once again, I want to congratulate all the awardees, and I want to say I'm personally looking forward to a day I will be awarded to, maybe somewhere. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Now we get into the nitty-gritty of the business. Maybe I should, okay, Professor Christian just stepped out. I was going to borrow something from biology, about to get into the nucleus of the business. Yes. The first set of awards will be going out to the Outstanding Tutorial Center of the Year. And we have 4 awardees in that category. And because of our time, we'd like to have all of them out at the same time so that we can present the award to them once and for all, so that we can move on as quickly as possible. We have Outstanding Tutorial Center of the Year, OGD Tutors. Can we have the CEO or representative recognized as one of the finest academic solution provider in the nation? OGD Tutors combines excellent academic programs and a vibrant student life. They have a diverse community of students from all tribes of the country, and there is no better place to be the foundation for your future. Life generally is competitive, and those who survive have wonderful critical thinking, problem-solving skills, an aptitude for learning new technologies, and an appreciation of different cultures. And all these can be found at OGD Tutors. A round of applause once again, please. Another awardee in the category, quickly, we have Excel Pre-Varsity Center. The vision has always been to raise young and bright minds that will impact positively into this country. And these they've been doing over the years. Next in that category, Outstanding Tutorial Center of the Year, we have Adams International College. Adams International College. Their location, unfortunately, That is not stated there. I looked for it myself while reading out, but I couldn't find it. Well, maybe they will tell us their locations as well. Adams International College was registered by the Corporate Affairs Commission over 15 years. It is the first distinctive tutorial college located in the heart of Nigeria, Lagos. It's a platform that encourages bright young minds to become the best they can be, with a conducive learning environment and a culture of excellence that places students at the cutting edge of science and technology through intensive learning and research. Adams International College. Our next awardee in that category, Outstanding Tutorial Center of the Year, we have Heroic Educational Center. Heroic Educational Center is at Heroic Educational World beside Corner Filling Station, Obantoko, Abeokuta, the Gateway States. And they've been for over a decade, they remain evergreen when it comes to leading students to the university. The mandate came July 8, 2005 with the divine motto, changing a student that changes a nation, and the work began on the 1st of December 2008, and they've produced many students who are now successful in their chosen career. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please once again put your hands together for all of them. And presenting the awards to them, please join me as I warmly welcome up here the Rector, Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti, Engineer Dr. Dayo F. Siba Oladebeye. You would help us present the awards then one after the other.
By their names, yeah? By their names.
OGD tutors.
This is presented to OGD EduConsults Company Limited as one of the outstanding tutorial centers of the year 2019. Congratulations.
Excel Pre-Varsity.
This award is presented to the Excel Pre-Varsity Center as one of the outstanding tutorial centers of the year 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
This being presented to the Heroic Education Center as one of the outstanding tutorial centers of the year 2019. Congratulations. Adams International College. This is presented to you as one of the outstanding tutorial centers of the year 2019, Southwest Nigeria. Congratulations. Another? Have we not presented this one? This is presented to the Excel Center for Development as one of the outstanding tutorial centers of the year 2019, Southwest Nigeria. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Please, your hands together for all of them. You can all stay together and take a snapshot together. Photographers, get busy. Show us what you've won. As much as I would love to, I would have been jealous or envious of the achievement. I think I have one of that in my living room too. Yes, thank you. Go back to your seats. I was shocked one afternoon like that in 2016 when I got a mail that said I've been nominated as the outstanding broadcaster, Southwest. I was like, from where? How? Then I just sent me the details of how to attend the event ceremony. And before you could say Jack Robinson, I was there, and I was shocked when I was presented the award as the most outstanding presenter 2016 by the same organizers. And I must say, unlike some other awards where we receive and you have to, bribe your way before you get it, they didn't collect a dime from me before I got it. Please put your hands together for the organizers again. Now we move on to the Outstanding School of the Year. And in this category, we have Life Fort International High School. Life Fort International High School was founded in 1996 by Pastor Olubi Johnson, PhD, and Pastor Dr. Sarah Johnson, as a co-educational boarding institution to provide a godly, broad-based, globally focused academic, moral, and social training for young people between the ages of 10 and 16. The educational approach is targeted towards making sure that students become lifelong learners, independent thinkers, moral and responsible global-minded citizens, and are able to achieve this through their unique combination of the Nigerian and British curricula. Life Fort is located on a 22-acre campus with a serene government-reserved area. Their facilities are ultra-modern, inclusive of a state-of-the-art sport complex, complete with a multi-purpose games court, artificial turf-covered football pitch, 6-lane tartan track, and a heated swimming pool. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time for the Outstanding School of the Year, Life Fort International High School. Ma, where's the school located, man? Where's the school located? Ibadan. We are in Ibadan. And in that same category, we have Tidub College. Please, your hands together for Tidub College. Tidub College is a government-approved private secondary school strategically located within Phase 2, Asheru Housing Estate, Asheru, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Dr. Abayomi Oluwatosin Jiboku, a seasoned educationist cum administrator through strong impetus occasioned by the lofty vision, established the college in October 1994 with a view to making the school a model. The unique citadel of learning is prestigiously situated in a quiet, serene, and conducive environment, with provision of modern educational and infrastructural facilities coupled with crops of dedicated and highly experienced tutors. Tidub College over the years has emerged and remained one of the best colleges in Nigeria through excellent academic morale and sport feats achieved regularly by the students. I present to you Tidub College, Outstanding School of the Year. I'm presenting the awards to them. I'd like to invite the Vice Chancellor, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Lautech. And while the Vice Chancellor, Professor Michael, steps forward, another school in that category again, we have Faith Standard College. Can we have a representative? God, beginning of all beginnings, inspired Dr. Lawrence Adebayo Shunjini, the proprietor of Faith Standard School, Ife, to establish Faith Standard School in 1988. The school, as its name implies, Faith Standard, stands to nurture children in the way of our God and to equip them in all facets of life in order to make them self-dependent. I present to you once again in 3 schools in one category: Outstanding Schools of the Year in Southwest. Faith Standard College, Life Fort, and of course, Tied Up College. Sir.
This award is presented to Life Fort International High School for your outstanding performances as the School of the Year 2019. Congratulations. This award is presented to Tied Up College for your outstanding performances as the School of the Year 2019. Congratulations. Faith Standard Schools. This award is being presented to you for your outstanding performances as the School of the Year 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Prof. They say what a man can do, women can do better. All right, are we done? All right, thank you, sir. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. They say men are the heads of the family. Women, the neck. It is where the neck shifts the head that the head will look at. That is why they say if you want something from a man, see the woman. But that was not the case of my former neighbor who used to maltreat his wife. He's always quick to remind the wife that he's the head of their family. Anytime they have an argument, they have a misunderstanding, what we hear from that family is, "Shut up! I am the head of the family." And to a point, whenever we hear there is an argument, before he says it, we are the first to say, "I am the head of the family." The day God will deal with him, armed robbers visited their family. So when they broke into the house, they asked, "Who is the head of this family?" The wife responded, "Daddy, I won't be in you." And the man quickly said, "I'm not the head, I'm the leg of the family." Now we about to be giving the next set of awards to the outstanding lecturers in the Southwest. Wow, the achievements are quite much, numerous to mention, but I'll try as much as possible because of our time to read a brief version of the profile. Outstanding Lecturer of the Year. Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Dr. Ebenezer Idowu Olatubosun Ajayi. He's a graduate of biochemistry from the former University of Ado-Ekiti. Now, the Ekiti State University, he obtained MSc and PhD in membrane biochemistry and biotechnology from the University of Ibadan. Born to Deaconess Juliana Ajayi, a headmistress and elder Joseph Ajayi, an accomplished university secretary and native of Ushi-Ekiti, Ebenezer was always destined for a life in the academia. His primary interest is in the study of the nature and modulation of biological membranes and the following disease conditions: diabetes and its complications, neurodegenerative disorders, cancer, aging, neglected infectious tropical diseases. It searches for druggable compounds which can be useful in the treatment or management of these conditions using the fruit fly model and tissue culture. At the moment, he is working on transdermal drug delivery systems for the treatment of cutaneous leishmaniasis lesions. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Ebenezer Idowu Olatubosun Ajayi. I'm presenting his award. Please join me as a welcome Professor Mrs. Ade Bileje, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Redeemers University, Ede.
Congratulations, sir. This is your wife here? My wife is here. Okay. It's for my Mommy should please come join you. Congratulations. This Outstanding Lecturer of the Year 2019 award is presented to you, Dr. Ebenezer I.O. Ajayi, by Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the next award, another Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Southwest. He's a senior lecturer in the Department of Economics of Bafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where she obtained a PhD, MSc, and BSc in economics. She also holds a certificate in e-learning design and facilitation from the Open Polytechnic, New Zealand. Her research areas is in gender, development economics, and public finance, where she has published widely in reputable international journals and also supervised students' theses both at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. She has worked as a consultant for the African Union Commission at Addis Ababa on capacity building for a gender-responsive policy making in Africa among other national and international organizations, and also on several projects funded by different international organizations like IDRC, UNDP, World Bank, Ford Foundation, EU, United Nations, and many more in the areas of women empowerment program, women's movement in Nigeria, and lots more. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you another Outstanding Lecturer of the Year in the Southwest, Dr. Monica Orishadari. If she is not around, can we have a representative? Someone from OA, you should please pick up the award on her behalf, please. Dr. Monica Orishadari. I'm presenting this award. They say, ladies first, after men. The registrar, Redeemers University, Pastor Lua Kayode Akindele, to help us please present this award.
Congratulations. This award is presented to Dr. Monica A. Orishadari for being an outstanding lecturer of the year 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, moving on. Outstanding lecturer of the year. This man is a Christian by faith and a minister of God with the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministry, Southwest Region, 1 headquarters, Abeokuta. He was born into an Anglican Christian home on the 6th day of August in Benin City, into the royal family compound of the Enojes Palace, Igweben, in Igweben local government area of Edo State. He started his primary school in Benin City and completed in Goza, the current seat of Boko Haram in Borno State. A thereafter proceeded to Benin Technical College, Benin City, where he started his secondary education and eventually completed it at St. Thomas Aquinas College, Akure, Ondo State. On a day here too. ACA, I know on a good day that they represent. Okay. He attended the Federal College of Education at Abeokuta, where he obtained his Nigerian Certificate in Education and thereafter proceeded to the University of Ibadan to obtain his Bachelor of Education degree in Educational Management with Mathematics, Master's degree in Educational Evaluation, and is presently a postgraduate student in pursuit of a doctorate degree in Educational Evaluation. He has supervised over 70 final year student projects. He's been a member of the School of Education Conference Committee since 2015 till date. He is the secretary to an international research foundation, UNERF. As a research fellow, he has attended several local and international conferences, workshops, seminars, and trainings. As a prolific writer, he has co-published 5 standard textbooks and has 6 journals, as well as 4 chapters in books to his credit. He is presently the State Secretary, Ogun State Council of Special Marshals of the Federal Road Safety Corps, RS-22, Ogun State Sector Command. He is a member of Police Community Relations Committee of Bantoko Division of the Nigerian Police Force. He is a member of the Vigilante Service of Ogun State and the Secretary to the Ajegunle Tuntun Community Development Association of Bantoko, Abeokuta. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, his achievements are too numerous to mention. Please join me as I welcome Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Southwest, Mr. Omori Yahweh.
Oh, okay. Please, can his second wife come out? Yes, so that you join your husband here. This award is presented to Mr. Omori Yahweh for being an outstanding lecturer of the year 2019, awarded today, May 21st, 2019, by the Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Oh, okay. It may interest you to know that the beautiful girl that I referred to as the second wife is actually the wife of his late brother. And he has done the right thing, you know. He collected the award and he gave it to the wife. Mommy, why bow? Okay. Moving on now. The next winner or awardee in this category, Oluwakemi Ademola Remu. This wonderful lady is a passionate, patriotic Nigerian, a lecturer at the Department of Chemical Pathology, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. First child of an indigenous industrialist, Prince Akinola Tella of Tella Fruit Juice Industries, Ibadan. She has always sought ways of improving the quality of life of the downtrodden, particularly those in situational crisis. Today, she runs Choice Solution Welfare Initiative International, CSWII, an organization that has membership in 7 states. Both Mrs. Aremu and CSWII have won numerous awards over the years, some as far as Borno State, and amongst her peers at the UI Senior Staff Club, where she was duly recognized for her community service. The spirit that made Mrs. Aremu a human rights activist at 8 has not diminished with the years, as she is an intercessor in a local church. She is also a public speaker and a regular socio-political analyst for FRCN and an active member of Africa Project Against Suicide. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you another outstanding lecturer of the year, all the way from the prestigious University of Ibadan, or your states, Oluwakemi Ademola Remu. I'm presenting the award to her. I'd like to call in, once again, Professor Isiaka Aronsi.
Thank you. On behalf of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, I present to you, this is Oluwakemi Ademola Aremu, this award for Outstanding Lecturer of the Year 2019. Congratulations, ma'am. Congratulations.
Next. Okay. Photographer, please. All right, congratulations. And the next award, we're going out to pharmacists for Lashade Salako. Is she here? Is she here? And this time around, I'm taking a break from the norm. A little break from awards for outstanding lecturer to that of outstanding student of the year. Pharmacist Salako Folashade is an indigene of Ibadan, born on the 9th of November to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Salako of Ile Bale Dada Oke Mapo, Ibadan, Oyo State. She attended Lasting Glory Nursery and Primary School Ibadan for primary education, and later attended Global School of Science Ibadan for secondary education, where she served as the president of Junior Engineering and Technician Society, JETS, in 2010. She also served as a member of Press Club in the same school. She obtained a Bachelor of Pharmacy in Obafemi Awolowo University with a CGPA of 4.75. She won the Shalina Young Talent Award as the best pharmacy brain in Nigeria on the 8th of April 2019. She also won Board of Fellows Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria Award as the best graduating student in pharmacognosy on May 7, 2019, and other awards. Salako Folashade is a love of God, a diligent and hardworking lady. Her most favorite quote is, "What is worth doing is worth doing well." Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Outstanding Student of the Year, Southwest Pharmacist Folashade Salako. I'm presenting this award to her since she's a pharmacist. I rather call on the Provost of Health Sciences, Lautech, Professor Samuel Taiwo.
Congratulations. On behalf of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, I present to you Pharmacist Folashade Salako as the Outstanding Student of the Year 2019. Congratulations.
Shade, be a neighbor. That award, who will you give it to, daddy or mommy? Don't worry, don't worry. I know she will be tempted to say, I will give it to mommy. But now daddy, they pay the school fees, so. All right, I said it, I was just going to take a break from the norm. Now we're getting back to the trend. Back to Outstanding Lecturer of the Year. This time around, the award will be going out to Dr. Mrs. Roslyn Bosede Ogurinde. She was born at Emurekiti. On the 28th of December 1975, she is an associate professor at the Department of Mathematical Sciences, Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti. She attended Isemure Grammar School between 1986 and 1992 and continued her secondary school education at St. Louis Grammar School, Owo, between the year 1992 and 1993, where she bagged a West African Senior School Living Certificate. She then proceeded to the then Ondo State University, Ado-Ekiti, later University of Ado-Ekiti, now Ekiti State University, in 1994, and obtained a BSc Mathematics second class upper division in the year 1999. She thereafter proceeded to the Premier University, the University of Ibadan, between the year 2002 and 2004 for MSc Mathematics, and later capped it with the Supremo of Academic Qualifications from the same University of Ibadan in the year 2010 for a PhD Mathematics. Because of our time, she is the current head of department, Mathematics Department, Ekiti State University. This prolific, sound scholar is a beneficiary of several awards, scholarships, and fellowships. She is an ordained minister in Redeemed Christian Church of God and the vice chairman of the PTA of the Seed of Grace International College in the year 2016. She is happily married to Dr. Roland Ogurinde, and the marriage is blessed with 3 wonderful children. Ladies and gentlemen, present. Thank you, sir. The VC, please. You can also stand with them to take snapshots. Join them to take snapshots, sir. Okay. Next, outstanding lecturer of the year, another Professor Ayo Emmanuel Olajuigbe. Is he around? If not around, then maybe we move on because of our time. Next is another outstanding lecturer of the year, Professor Samuel Adeniran Oluwalano. Is he here? Yes, sir. Professor Samuel Adeniran was born in Owo, Ondo State, to a close-knit family. The parents, Mr. and Mrs. Moses Ijalano, were cocoa farmers, but great lovers of education. The gale of Chief Obafemi Awolowo's free education program sweeping through the then Western region further ignited the passion of the parents. The young Samuel attended Methodist Primary School 1, Owo, between 1960 and 1965. A Methodist High School, Owo, between 1966 and 1968. He received a scholarship grant in 1969 to study at Owo High School under Chief Michael Adekunle Ajasin, the founder, proprietor, and principal of the school. There in 1970, he had his West African School certificate. He later attended Victory College Ikari Akoko for the higher school certificate between 1971 and 1972, also on scholarship. In 1974, he was admitted into the University of Ibadan for the Bachelor of Science Forestry degree program. He is a recipient of many distinguished awards. Award of Distinction 2008 by the Farm Practical Year Program, University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Imar Kabir and Yalodi Tinubu Halls of Residence, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Distinguished Award 2010. Nigeria Association of Agricultural Students Award of Excellence 2011. The Distinguished Scientist Honor Award for his contribution to knowledge and turning research results to wealth creation, among many other awards. He is married to Dr. Mrs. Funmi Oluwalano, a former banker, now Associate Professor of Agricultural and Resource Economics at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. He has co-authored 3 books with his wife: Medicinal Uses of Onion, Medicinal Uses of Okra, and Remedies of Common Ailment. Professor Samuel and Dr. Mrs. Funmi Oluwalano are active beekeepers. They hold health talks in seminars, conferences, and television programs throughout Nigeria. They're blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Samuel Adeniran Oluwalano. I'm presenting this award. May I once again call on the DVC, our landlady here today, Professor Adebeleje.
Congratulations. This Outstanding Lecturer of the Year award is presented to Professor Samuel A. Oluwalano. Congratulations.
Okay. I might have to take a break from the norm again. And this time around, take the Outstanding Rector of the Year. Outstanding Rector of the Year. Engineer Dr. Dayo Msiba Oladebeye. Engineer Dr. Dayo Msiba Oladebeye, Outstanding Rector of the Year. Engineer Dr. Dayo Msiba Oladebeye was born in Ibadan, Oyo State, on the 20th of November, less than 6 decades ago. He had his secondary education at Ibokun Grammar School, Ibokun, from 1974 and 1979. He proceeded to the Federal Polytechnic at Ado-Ekiti between 1981 and 1986, where he came out twice as the best student in the Department of Mechanical Production Engineering for the award of MD and HND respectively, with distinction grade in 1983 and 1986. In his quest for more knowledge, he proceeded to the former Anambra State University of Science and Technology, ASUTEC, between 1989 and 1990 for his postgraduate diploma in Mechanical and Production Engineering, where he graduated as the best student. Dr. Oladebeye also came out as the best graduating mechanical engineering student in the Faculty of Engineering at the Enugu State University of Science and Technology, Enugu, in 1995. He also bagged a PhD in Mechanical Engineering in 2016 at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Futa, where he had earlier obtained a Master of Business Administration in 1998. Dr. Oladebeye joined the services of the Federal Polytechnic at Ado-Ekiti as a technologist too on December 30th, 1987, after his National Youth Service in Borno State. He rose through the ranks to become first alumnus to attain the status of a chief lecturer in the Polytechnic with effect from 1st of January 2007. He was also the first alumnus of the Polytechnic to become the head of the Mechanical Engineering Department, where he served as head of department at 3 different times, starting from April 2001 and later as the director Olusegun Obasanjo Center for Engineering Innovation from April 17, 2009 to January 3, 2011. With a knack for unrelenting pioneering feats, Dr. Oladebeye is the first alumnus to become a deputy rector in the Polytechnic in July 2014. He served diligently in that capacity until he was appointed as the acting rector of his alma mater on the 18th of December 2017, a position which he held till 22nd of February 2018 before his confirmation as the 6th substantive rector with effect from 23rd of February 2018. In the course of his career in the Polytechnic, he has served as a member of many committees and was chairman to many polytechnics boards and committees. He has also attended many conferences, workshops, seminars, and exhibitions within and outside the country. This man of vast experience in education has many publications to his credit, both national and international. The sixth substantive and first alumnus rector of the Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, Dr. Dayo Happi Oladebeye, otherwise described as distinction, and now the people's rector, has served and continued to serve humanity in general and the Polytechnic for 31 years. He has served meritoriously with administrative skills, which advantageously positioned him for an iconic future in the world of service to humanity. This young man is married to a loving wife, and the union is blessed with promising children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Outstanding Rector of the Year 2019, Engineer Dr. Dayo Happi Oladebeye. I'm presenting this award. I call on the Vice Chancellor of FUTA, the school you attended, who is ably represented here by the VC Development, Professor Philip Oguntunde.
On behalf of the organizers, I present this award of Outstanding Rector of the Year to you, Engineer Dayo Oladebeye. And as a representative of FUTA, we are very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. The rector, please wait, sir. There is another cap, another feather to your cap. And this time around, the next award will be going out to, the next award with that of the Outstanding Polytechnic of the Year, Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti. The next award is for all the members of the Polytechnic community. Yes. Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, Fed Poly Ado, as it is always fondly called, is a Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, Nigeria. Yes, now the award is for everybody. It's for, in fact, do we have any student from that school here? The students should join too. There are students here. Okay. This is full house. The Polytechnic offers National Diploma and higher National Diploma Certificate and professional programs in architectural technology, urban and regional planning, surveying and geoinformatics, and many other courses. The institution opened in January 1977 in Jos, Plateau State, as a college of technology with 350 national diploma students. The following year, it was relocated by the government to Akure, Ondo State, and in 1979 became a polytechnic in 1982. It was moved again to Ado-Ekiti, Akure. We never collect the award without the shake ourselves to go. Okay. In 1982, it was moved again to Ado-Ekiti, Akure, becoming the location of the Federal University of Technology. As of 2016, it had more than 10,000 full and part-time students and approximately 1,500 staff. The institution has set out to train and develop self-reliant manpower for sustainable technological development of Nigeria by disseminating qualitative and practical knowledge to all its students. Ladies and gentlemen, once again I present to you the outstanding Polytechnic of the Year, Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti. I'm presenting this award. I'd like to call on Professor J.O. Borode. Sir.
On behalf of the organizers of this award, the Southwest Nigerian, I present this award to the Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti as the most outstanding Polytechnic of the year 2009. Congratulations, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Alumni, you alumni. I'm a confused person because I don't know whether I'm an alumnus of EXU or an alumnus of UNAD. I'm very confused. You can imagine, I attended UNAD, I carried the certificate of EXU in my house. All right, thank you. Congratulations, Director. Congratulations, sir. Okay. Now back to the norm. Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Southwest, Professor Emmanuel Ilesomi Adeyeye. The Prof was born on the 9th of August 1951 to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Gabriel Adeyeye in Odoayedun, Ekiti State. He attended Egbeoba High School. Egbeoba. Thank you very much. Okay, there is Oba High School in Akure. Okay. Ekiti between 1966 and 1970. He attended College of Education, University of Lagos between 1972 and 1975, where he studied chemistry and biology. He graduated from the University of Ibadan in 1979 with second-class honors in chemistry. He obtained MSc Analytical Chemistry from the University of Ibadan in 1983 and PhD Food Chemistry from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, in 1995. He started his career as a science classroom teacher between 1980 and 1984. He proceeded to Ondo State College of Education as lecturer between 1984 and 1998. And he served in various capacities, HOD at various times. Vice Dean, 1994 to 1995, acted Dean in 2 different schools between 1995 and 1997, and acting Director of Computer Center between 1995 and 1997. He joined the services of the University of Ado-Ekiti as Lecturer 1 on the 30th of December 1998. He rose steadily through the ranks to become a professor of food chemistry on the 1st of October 2008. Professor Emmanuel Elesomi Adeyeye is an embodiment of integrity, hard work, and scholarship. Professor Adeyeye is married to Mrs. Florence Oluremi Adeyeye, and the marriage is blessed with successful children, 2 males and 2 females. I'm presenting this award. I'd like to call on from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Professor Mrs. Elizabeth Oluwalano.
My husband has received also, and I'm presenting to another professor. In fact, it's a good opportunity that Pastor Oni has given everybody, especially in the academia. We thank God for him, and we pray that we'll be part of this success story too, to assist him to continue in this good work. So thank you, sir, for this opportunity. And mommy, you just with your husband and more of this glorious award in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you.
All men seated there, clap for yourselves. All the men seated there, clap for yourselves. Did you notice something? All the men that have received the award here with their wife gave the award to their woman. It shows that they are caring. Yoruba men are caring. Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Professor Isiaka Olalekan Aronsi. He remained one. Professor Isiaka Olalekan Aronsi started his academic career at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, in 1981, when he was admitted to the university to pursue his first degree program. He bagged his first degree, BA Education, English, second class honors, upper division, in 1985. He followed these up with a Master of Public Administration between 1990 and 1992 at the same institution. Thereafter, he proceeded to the University of Ibadan to obtain the Master of Science degree in Political Science between 1995 and 1997. He bagged his doctorate degree, Political Science, at the same university in 2005. Upon graduation in 1985, he served as a teacher at Girls Secondary School, Enugu, Anambra State. After a period of further academic pursuit for high attainment, he began his teaching career at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, assistant lecturer between 1994 and 1995. As a scholar of repute, Professor Aronsi has contributed immensely to manpower development and capacity building in the training of middle and high cadre personnel in Nigeria, particularly from the local government service commissions, through teaching, participating in conferences and workshops and public lectures, to the extent that his writings identify the roles which diversity plays in the area of culture in a country dominated by ethnic configuration like the Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, and the Yoruba, especially in language, religion, marriage, family life, and inheritance. Professor Aronsi is a recipient of several awards. He's also an accomplished speaker at various human development and public administration forums across the country, and of course, a sought-out commentator on national affairs. He is happily married and blessed with 4 adult children and many grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Outstanding Lecturer of the Year, Southwest, Professor Isiaka Olalekan Arosi. I'm presenting this award. I'd like to call on Professor Mrs. Adibileje. Africa. Okay. Forward never, backward never, we learn in our culture. Great Ife, I love you. There's only one great Ife in the universe. Another great Ife is a oh yeah, great, 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 great. Wait, are you a lecturer or a student?
This is quite interesting. So on behalf of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, we present to you the Outstanding Lecturer of the Year 2019, Professor Isiaka O. Arosi. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, let us remain seated even after collecting our awards. Well, congratulations, sir. You must be a very good lecturer. You must be a very good lecturer. Lecturers who are like fathers to their students. Congratulations once again. Hey, what? Come. You say what? I can never forget my days in UNAD. UNAD. Okay? Okay. I don't want to talk. Professor of mathematics is here, I cannot talk. Okay. The next award will be that of the icon of education. And this will be going to the Vice Chancellor, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Professor Michael Olufisayo Ologunde. Professor Emo Ologunde attended primary schools in Oshogbo between 1961 and 1966. after which he proceeded to Oshogbo Grammar School, Oshogbo, for the WASC and HSC courses. He entered University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1974 and graduated with the honors degree in biochemistry. He obtained his master and doctorate degrees in food science and technology between 1987 and 1989. He was at Howard University, Washington, D.C., following a fellowship he enjoyed from the USAID. He served as an academic intern for 6 months at the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, United States Food and Drug Administration, 200 C Street, Washington, D.C. in 1989. Professor Ologunde was a participant at a training program organized by the American Chemical Society on chromatographic separation techniques at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University in 1992. Professor Ologunde attended 2-month international training program in advanced analytical instrumentation and techniques at Unicam Analytical Systems, York Street, Cambridge, UK. Professor Ologunde has attended several management training programs in higher education administration. He joined the services of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, at the inception of the university in 1990. He rose through the ranks to become the head of the Department of Food Science and Engineering in 1996. He was in this position until 2003, when he left for higher assignment. He was Foundation Dean of Faculty of Food Science and Technology at Wesley University, Ondo, and also at Federal University, Wukari. He has assisted with the takeoff of many universities in the country. He is the first internal professor from Lautech to become the Vice Chancellor of the then 28-year-old institution, when his appointment was made on the 9th of December 2018. All former VCs have been appointed from outside the university community. Professor Ologunde has published many papers in reputable international academic journals with high impact factor in the areas of food nutrients, bioavailability, nutrition for the elderly, food safety, as well as food toxicology. He has attended several academic conferences both locally and internationally. He was a participant at the 37th session of Codex Committee on Food Additives and Contaminants held at Hague, Netherlands. He was at the 85th, 86th, and 87th sessions of World Academy of Food Science, Nutrition, and Dietetics held at Houston, Texas in 2013, Atlanta 2014, and Los Angeles 2015, United States of America respectively. He is a member of many associations, most of them advancing the cause of man and his requirement for good nutrition as a viable alternative to consumption of medicinal drugs for good health and longevity. He is founder, President Michael Olufisayo Ologunde Foundation for Food Micronutrient Intervention in the Vulnerable Groups and the Elderly. Professor Ologunde, a Jerusalem pilgrim, is married and blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Southwest icon of education, Professor Michael Olufisayo Ologunde. And presenting this award, since he is the head of a university, I should call on maybe which other school is higher than the university. But permit me to call on the DVC, who I call our landlord, our landlady, for the sake of this event. The DVC, Redeemers University, Nigeria, run Professor Mrs. Adebeleje to help us present this award.
Professor Michael O. Ologunde, you are presented with this award, Education Icon of the Year 2019, by Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, madam.
He said somebody here. I don't know
Who is the person?
Dr. Hemai Oladapo.
I think we've one of those that we called.
No, we have not called. He has not been called.
Really?
Yeah. Emma.
Let's go for this together.
Bia will send you anyway.
Everyone.
Dr. Emma Oladapo said I should represent you. Dr. Michael Ileson Oladapo.
I called it now. Michael Ileson. It's not Michael Ileson Oladapo.
From Futa.
This is the only Ileson we have. Listen, there's no Oladapo here.
Because he also said he was awarded this because he received the.
But he didn't acknowledge.
He didn't acknowledge.
Please, let's remain seated. The event in the next 15 minutes. In the next 15 minutes will be done. Please, let's all remain seated, please. Please. The next award with that of the Outstanding Vice Chancellor of the Year. And the recipient of this award is Professor Joseph Adiola Fuwakwe, who is ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Philip Oguntunde. Professor Joseph Adiola Fuwakwe had his higher education at the University of Ibadan, where he obtained his bachelor's degree in 1979 and PhD at the Department of Agricultural Engineering in 1984. He had a specialized training as a research fellow at the University of North Wales, Bangor, UK in 1991. He was also a visiting scholar at the Department of Plant Science, University of Oxford in 1992. Professor Fuwakwe has numerous awards and grants to his credit. These include the prestigious Shields Prize, 1979, University Scholar, Department of Agricultural Engineering, 1981, Commonwealth University Fellowship, 1991, IUFR Grant, 1993, among many others. Professor Fuwakwe was appointed and served as the second substantive Vice Chancellor of Salem University, Lokoja, from 2012 to 2016, and he is presently the incumbent Vice Chancellor of the prestigious Federal University of Technology, Akure. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Outstanding Vice Chancellor of the Year, Professor Joseph Adiola Fuwakwe. Please, your hands together. I'm presenting this award I'd like to call on the Rector, Federal Polytechnic, Ado-Ekiti.
I'm delighted to present this award to the Vice Chancellor, the current Vice Chancellor of the university where I did both my master's in business administration and PhD in mechanical engineering. This outstanding award as the Best Vice Chancellor of the Year 2019 Southwest Nigeria is presented to Professor Joseph A. Fuwakwe, ably represented here by the DVC Development, as organized by the Southwest Nigeria Education Awards. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm presenting this award. I'd like to call on the woman whom after this event I'll meet to be.
On behalf of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, I want to present this to the Federal University of Technology, Akure, as the Outstanding Government University of the Year 2019. Congratulations.
And guess what the DVC told me? She is our own. And the next award with that of the Outstanding Private University of the Year. Second to the last award, I beg your pardon. Outstanding Private University of the Year. Redeemers University, Nigeria. Just like the abbreviation of the university, R-U-N, run, they keep running. They keep running at a very, very fast pace. It has always been the desire of the Redeemed Christian Church of God to make input into university education in Nigeria. Having been convinced of the great role university education can play in the social and technological development of a nation. The dream could not come true because of the existence of Decree number 19 of 1984, which prescribed and banned the establishment and operation of private universities. The opportunities was however made available by the federal government when Decree number 9 of 1993 was promulgated, allowing private individuals or organizations to establish universities in Nigeria, provided it meets certain criteria laid down by the federal government through the National Universities Commission. In order to realize this dream, RCCG, the proprietors of the university, initially acquired a large expanse of land in Ede local government area of Osun State, having obtained a certificate of statutory right of occupancy in 1997. The site of the university covers an area of about 812 hectares. However, during an assessment visit of facilities for the takeoff of the university, the National Universities Commission advised the acquisition of a parcel of land within the vicinity of the takeoff campus as the permanent site. Therefore, the university, through the proprietor, acquired about 500 hectares of land close to the takeoff campus situated in Ibafo, and in the coming years. The present proposal to establish the Redeemers University is therefore a noble effort towards producing the requisite high-level manpower required for the development of the nation. The university intends to procure graduates who can stand on their own and adapt to the ever-changing situations in a dynamic society. In particular, the university will nurture the spirit of entrepreneurship so that its graduates will be in position to create jobs rather than relying on employment, which is now indeed very, very, very scarce. The motto of the Redeemers University is running with a vision. The vision of the university is to be the foremost institution for producing graduates who combine academic excellence and the practice of their profession with God-fearing attributes. The proprietors are committed to the realization of this dream. I present to you the Outstanding Private University of the Year, Southwest Redeemers University. Presenting the award, I'd like to call on the recipient of the Icon of Education 2019, the Vice Chancellor, Lautech, to help us present this award.
All things considered, Redeemers University is actually the Outstanding Private University of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And just before we call it a day, this award is the second Icon of Education award, but unfortunately the recipient had to be held down on campus on an assignment. So I'd like to call on anyone or someone who is there to represent Professor Adebayo Simon Bamire, DVC. Professor Anastasia should help us, the DVC Obafemi Awolowo University. Bamire Adebayo Simon, a native of Onya in Onya, I beg your pardon, Onya, in local government area of Osun State, Odotin, local government area of Osun State. Odotin. I'm learning. Seriously. He started his elementary educational life in Datas Preparatory School, Accra, Ghana, and then had his secondary school education in St. Charles Grammar School, Osogbo, Nigeria, between 1972 and 1976. He was admitted to the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, to study agricultural economics in the Faculty of Agriculture. Professor Bamire, great pleasure standing before my teachers, academics in the house, and doing what I know how to do best. I am Stephen Shotonwa. My friends call me Sweet Steve. Thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon.
Yeah, this is, there's a saying, everything that has a beginning must also have an end. I believe it has been wonderful. Where's Mr. Omori Yahweh? Please come forward. You need to pick this for your colleague. I can say for the first time, people were able to sit down after receiving their own award. For the first time. It has never happened. Well, thank God we were able to witness everything. And Dr. Benjamin wanted to be here, but yes, we have been discussing since yesterday. There's an exam today, he must be there to supervise. There's no way to carry over. Yes, so on behalf of Dr. Benjamin, we are presenting this award. Can I have the award, please? Dr. Benjamin is from the Federal College of Education, Abeokuta. Yes. So we are presenting this on behalf of the Board of Southwest Nigeria Education Awards to Dr. Benjamin Edegbai, Outstanding Lecturer of the Year. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me quickly announce this, please. As we are going, you can pick it up at the table. You will see the sister with the red shirt. This is a conference, Africa Education and Leadership Summit 2019. This is the first Africa Education and Leadership Summit. It's holding at Polokwane City, South Africa, from October 10th to 12th, 2019. So we are involved in this project because the program is organized by Africa Project Against Suicide. And I happen to be the international director of Africa Project Against Suicide. So we are really involved. You know, cases of suicide these days is becoming something of concern to all of us. So we are using all means to tackle suicide. So coming for this conference is we have guest speakers from the United States, from all across. People are coming down to South Africa in October. And the wonderful thing is we are partnering with an airline who has also reduced the cost of air ticket for that journey. So if you want to be there, all you need to have, all expenses, return ticket, visa, everything, airport pickup, is with accommodation, feeding, everything is 350,000 naira. 350,000 naira. So, and this happened because the airline gave us 50% off. So you can sponsor your staff, you can sponsor anybody, you can also be there with your family. It's going to act as a training program. You can also present papers there. We have everything inside this file. So just pick up, it's free. Pick it up at the back there. You just pick up a copy of this. And you can use it as a training, as for training and also as an holiday, because arrangement has been made for sightseeing after the training to so many beautiful places in South Africa after the program. So I want to appreciate everybody. I want to thank you very much. And God will preserve our life till next year when we are going to have another edition. And I know we are going to get better, better, and better. So thank you. I wish all of you safe journey back to your destinations. And those who wanted to see me, please see me before you go. I'm still available for the next 1 hour. God bless you.